Hello everyone and welcome back to another episode of No Huddle with Zach Arndt. And today we're going to be taking a look at the Michigan State Spartans, giving a preview for the upcoming 2022 college football season. Led by head coach Mel Tucker, going into his third season with the Spartans. Offensive coordinator Jay Johnson. Defensive coordinator Scotty Hazelton. Some key players returning for Michigan State. You have quarterback Peyton Thorne, 3,200 passing yards last year, third most in a season in school history. He also threw 27 touchdowns, along with 10 interceptions. Wide receiver Jaden Reed, third team All-Big Ten last year, second team returner. Led the conference in yards per play at 18. Reed, he's going to be one of the best wide receivers in the Big Ten this season. You have defensive tackle Jacob Slade coming back, 33 QB hurries last year, which led the Big Ten among defensive tackles. It was number 2 in the FBS, and I got those stats. Those are all from PFF. That's how they measure it, just by position. They had some key losses. Kenneth Walker III, the Walter Camp National Player of the Year last year, also the Doak Walker winner. He finished second in the nation with 1,600 rushing yards, along with 18 touchdowns and 6.5 yards per carry. Jacob Panasiak, or Panazuk, however you say it. I apologize if I said that wrong. He ranked number 5 in the nation in QB pressures with 73, tied for 4th in QB hurries at 41. Matt Caulflin, the kicker, he's gone. He had a lot of production last year. Yeah, he holds the record for most extra points. Just a quick side note. And field goals at 76. Last year he went 12 for 19. He had a total of 77 points for the Spartans. 2022 recruiting class. They had 6 4-stars. Alex Van Summeren, the D lineman. Caton Hauser, quarterback out of Bellflower, California. Jeremy Bernard, wide receiver. Dylan Tatum, athlete. Jaden Mangum, another athlete. And then they got another 4-star wide receiver, Antonio Gates Jr. Absolute stud. He could get some early playing time as a true freshman this year. Looking at the wide receiver room, Jaden Reed is going to lead the way. They also have Trey Mosley, 2 guys returning from last year. Mosley had over 500 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns last year. They have Keon Coleman, Jeremy Bernard, and Christian Fitzpatrick also in the room there. Another guy to look out for is Montoya Foster. He's a junior wide receiver, number 83. Offensive line, they returned their left tackle and left guard, Jarrett Horst and J.D. Duplin, both seniors. They also have Nick Samick, Matt Carrick, and Spencer Brown, the fellow at the offensive line. Brian Green, who's also a senior, is going to be filling in. Tight end, Daniel Barker and Malik Carr make out the tight end room. Quarterback, Peyton Thorne, as I mentioned, one of the better quarterbacks in the Big Ten. Running back, Michigan State had a home run in the transfer portal, getting Jarek Broussard, the transfer running back from Colorado. He had a great year last year in the Pac-12. They also have Jalen Berger, who's a sophomore running back. Looking at the defensive side of the ball, defensive line, Jacob Slade and Simeon Barrow return at the defensive tackle spots. Jeff Petrowski and Chris Bogle at defensive end. Middle linebacker, they have Cal Holliday, Darius Snow, and Aaron Burrell. Corner, Amir Speed comes in. Ronald Williams, a senior. Chester Kimbrough, another senior, along with third senior Xavier Henderson. So Michigan State, they got an experienced secondary. But on the other side of that, they ranked 130th in pass defense last year, which is one off the worst. They also have junior Angelo Gross. Then they have Charles Brantley, Marky Lowry, Kendall Brooks, and Jaden Mangum, the fellow at the DB room. Offensive efficiency last year, the Spartans were 67th in the country. Explosive plays, they were 26th, which was a big jump from the 2020 season. Turnover margin, they were +3, which is good for 46th in the country. Offense, all these numbers jumped up from the previous seasons. Averaged 31 points per game, 175 yards on the ground, 250 through the air, which was a total of 430 yards per game, which is good for 42nd in the country. Defense, they were 54th in scoring at 25 per game. They had the 15th best rushing defense at 117. As I mentioned, they were 130th in pass defense. And that puts them at 111th with total yards allowed per game at 441.9. Those stats were good for an 11-2 record, 7-2 in the Big Ten. Those losses came at Purdue, 40-29, and then at Ohio State they got whooped, 56-7. That's where having a terrible pass defense comes into play. Ohio State, C.J. Stroud, I think they had 49 at halftime or early third quarter. I can't remember exactly, but that game was over. Raven has started. Looking ahead to 2022, I have the Spartans going 9-3 this year. Starting off the year 2-0 against Western Michigan and Akron. And this is a very underrated game. They travel to Washington, across the country to Seattle. I have them losing that game. Really, it's 50-50, but it's at Washington. I think Michigan State's going to take the loss there. Washington, very good defense. Always hard to win there. Minnesota, at Maryland. Back-to-back wins there, sitting at 4-1. Then they play Ohio State. I think they'll lose that game just like last season. Wisconsin, another loss. But at Michigan, as I talked about in the Michigan video, I just have a gut feeling Mel Tucker, after back-to-back losses, will have this team ready. Instead of having a derail season, after back-to-back losses, the season just goes crazy. I think Mel Tucker gets this team right. Bounce back win at Michigan. Then from there, I think they win out, win their last 4 games at Illinois. Rutgers and Indiana come to town, both easy wins there. They play at Penn State. I expect this game to be during the day, maybe big noon kickoff, 3:30 game. I have Michigan State taking the win there at Penn State. And now that I think about it, that is not going to be a big noon kickoff because Ohio State and Michigan play that same day. So if this game's during the afternoon, I have Michigan State winning that. But if that game's at night, it could be a lot closer than people think. Penn State could pull off the upset. To finish things up, Michigan State last season went 11-2. In Mel Tucker's third year, I think they'll go 9-3. Very good season for the Spartans in 2022. That's going to do it for today's video, guys. Make sure to leave a like, subscribe to the channel, and I hope you all have a great day. I'll catch you in the next one.